Hi, my name is Jonathan Hicks. I'm at the UK Games Expo 2018, and today I'm joined by
Pete from Osprey Games.
And we're looking at Sakura, which is the latest game from Reiner Knizia. Could you explain briefly how it works?
Yep, absolutely. So Sakura is a 2 to 6 player filler game. You're playing as painters who are trying to paint the Emperor, which is represented by this meeple here, and you're trying to get as close as possible to him anytime he lands on one of these Sakura squares, which are represented by the pink petals on there. What you don't want to do is you don't want to accidentally knock into him, because that's going to cause great disgrace. He's going to knock you backwards and you're going to lose points. So the way the game works is each player starts off with a hand of 5 cards. Each of the cards is going to dictate the actions that you'll take on your turn. So just to give you examples of the cards, the top row we refer to as the garden action. The second icon there is the painter action, and at the bottom we have the initiative card. So starting with the garden action, that's usually either going to be affecting the Emperor himself, which is represented when you've got one of these pagoda ones. So it could be plus or minus movement. So you'll either be moving him forwards or backwards, trying to knock him into your opponents, but avoid him knocking into you. Or it could be something that affects either the first player or the last player in the row. So you might be able to move the first player back spaces or the last player forward spaces. Again, it might be to get away from the Emperor. It might be to knock one of your opponents into the Emperor. When it comes to your garden action, your painter action, it's either going to be moving yourself forwards just by a number, or backwards. Again, it's possible to go forwards and backwards, or moving forwards by this symbol, which is however many people are in front of you. This symbol, which would be leapfrogging to the next available space in front of you. Of course, you can never go in front of the Emperor. That again would be a great disgrace. You'd knock into him, knock backwards, you'd lose 1 point, and you move 3 tiles back, and you're going to be further away. You're not going to get the best painting you possibly can. The initiative value is important because that dictates whether your card's going to be played early or late. So if we pretend that these are the 4 cards that have been played by players, everyone will have simultaneously played a card face down in front of them. These are then flipped over, and they're played in initiative value. So whoever played the 1 card would move their meeple first, then onto the 15, the 35, and the 58. You've got to work out when you want your card to be played, because you don't want to miss out on scoring points or accidentally be knocked into the Emperor or away from the Emperor. So scoring takes place any time that the Emperor lands on the Sakura tile. If we imagine that we're set up like this. So the scoring is according to the numbers you've got here on the tree itself. For the first 2 trees, it's going to be 3 points to the player in first, 2 to the player in second, 1 to the player in third, and if you're playing with 5 or 6 players, the player in last will also get 1 point. Same is true with the second tree. With the third tree, the player in first is going to get 4 points as well, so there's bonus points to be gained there. When you score, everyone gets grouped up to behind the first player, and the Emperor is going to start on his journey again. If he ever goes back to the same tile, it's not going to score again. It can happen, but you'll never score on that tile again once you've scored on it once. Anytime you knock into the Emperor, you're going to lose 1 of your points, represented by these tokens here, and you're going to move backwards 3 spaces. The important thing to note is when we're talking about moving forwards or backwards spaces, we're talking about available spaces. You're never going to move forwards and land on the same space as anyone else. If you were positioned here on the bridge, and you needed to move forwards, and say you were moving forwards 1 space, you would move to there. Only when it's 5 or 6 players do you use all the spaces on the bridge. And that's pretty much how the game works. It's very chaotic with the higher player count. If you're playing with a lower player count, it can be very tactical, trying to work out when you want to move, when you need to retreat. A very fine balancing act between really going for it and playing conservatively, because you don't want to be so far away that you can't get a good picture of the Emperor.
Okay, is this available for purchase now?
It is indeed. This came out earlier this year. We're selling it at the show for £20.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. That was Sakura.